make sure I start my recording again because I failed in this last week. But yes, our next topic is UM5. Oh my goodness, we had the second round of the Ultimate Madness tournament at the weekend, and all the upsets happened again. If it wasn't enough that we had last or UM3 tournament winner and favourite Geechee Gotti went out last week, we had the other UM3 tournament winner go out this week. RUM NITTY went out in a dazzling loss to I've just drawn a complete blank. Swamp. He went out in a loss to Swamp, and then True Foe, who was, what was he, semi-finalist or finalist of the UM4 competition. He was a heavy favourite going in after his performance this week to win his battle against someone who a lot of people said didn't deserve to win, and got the win. I can make myself big. Let me do that. Yeah. Sheed battled True Foe and had the most amazing performance and upset. It was a crazy weekend of battle rap, the UM5 tournament round 2. So I don't have extensive notes on this one. In fact, do I even have? Oh, I've got a graphic. Here we go. Do I have a graphic? Oh, okay, I haven't added my graphic. But we had, no, let me pull it up because I'm so tired. I'm not going to remember the matchups. Here we go. I've pulled it up for me, although you can't see it. We had Fonz versus Real Sick, RUM NITTY versus Swamp, JC Head Ice, and True Foe versus Sheed Happens. Now, the first battle, I think the opener on the night is, the reason I don't have extensive notes for this, disclaimer, I fell asleep. It wasn't even that late for us in the UK, but I'd knocked out I do funny hours, so sometimes I sleep at funny times, but I watched it later through the magic of watching later. I won't disclose my sources. But yeah, the opening battle, Sheed Happens versus True Foe. Man, so True Foe coming in off of what many called an undeserving win over Nun in the first round versus True Foe's crazy upset over Geechee Gotti. He was expected to come and beat Sheed, and Sheed, I think a lot of people thought, okay, well, he's definitely out now. This is going to redress the balance. But wow, no, that's not what happened at all. Sheed had the performance of his life. I feel like he's perfected his tournament style. He's worked on his own style and perfected it in his tournament style, and obviously brought elements of extreme aggression to True Foe. Obviously a more kind of gritty street style opponent. He felt maybe he needed that rather than the theatric word stretching type performance, and yeah, he was incredibly impressive. I didn't give True a round in this at all. I thought he lacked some of the fire that he had against Geechee. I guess it's different opposition, different level. It's still a step closer to $100,000, but I think he had a lot more to offer in the Geechee battle, and she was just outstanding. Yeah, pretty much gave him every round. Really, really dope performance from Sheed, who is now a real kind of sleeper favorite to go on and win the battle. He's if you had him as a wild card, you might well get some sort of payoff there, because a lot of people seem to be saying he is a real contender next. Now he faces, well, we talk about the next round. We had Fonz versus Real Sick. Oh wow, this was an incredible battle. Really, really close. Did the fan vote have it one way and the judges had it another? It was a really, really debatable battle. Great performance from both of them. I gave Sick the first. I think I gave Fonz the second. I think those rounds were pretty clear for me, and then I edged the third to Fonz. I might go back and change my mind on the watch back, but this is of course a tournament, and the judges get one play to decide who wins, except for maybe the other battle, which we'll talk about in a second. And Fonz edged it. I think the judges all, I can't remember, I should have some notes here, apologies. But I think the judges were split somewhat over that decision, but Sick ultimately took it. Let's continue. But yeah, great performance from both. I was thoroughly impressed. Next up, we had RUM NITTY versus Swamp. And again, another huge upset from one of the former winners of the UM5 tournament. Walked away with $75,000 at last year's split with Geechee Gotti. But he lost to an amazing Swamp again. I think it was Henny. Henny tweeted something about this tournament being about hunger, and that's really kind of showing with these wins. Nitty was solid. It was a solid Nitty that a lot of people wouldn't have beaten, but Swamp was just he was damn near flawless. Like he was, and let me say again, on 2 weeks, these guys, Sheed, Swamp, like incredible performances, leveling up, working on things, polishing some stuff, coming back in the next round and really laying claim to that money. So I think Swamp is going to be he's going to go down in battle rap folklore with some of those coke bars, man. He's just got those dope bars like he had. I won't spoil too much, and also because I don't have my notes, but he had some crazy. That was it. He opened. What was it? He opened basically with like this angle. I've been so caught up writing for Nitty. What did he say? Like it was something like, I lost a couple plugs and I gave the customers extra crumbs type thing. It was a really really dope opening. Then he had another. It was like another one of those rounds that he had. Was it against Sirius? Was it a whole round? But yeah, it's just that kind of style. He sometimes gets it so right, and I think this was one of those times. Dope performance. These two are clearly battling for, when I say these two, Sheed and Swamp, clearly battling for $100,000. They've been here before and haven't been here for $100,000 before. Or Swamp. Which tournament was Swamp in? Swamp did battle for $100,000, didn't he? But yeah, don't want to leave it behind. So salute to them. And same with Fonz and Sick. We know we've seen great performances for them. But I think this is the best tournament performances I've seen from Sheed and Swamp so far, for sure. JC versus Head Ice didn't happen on Saturday with the rest of the battles. I think JC had a flight. There was some flight issues. I don't know what exactly, but he was there. He was just there late, and the venue wouldn't extend the time, so they took it to the parking lot. They went to the parking lot and had a dope, crazy battle. I couldn't watch it at full attention, but it was a great old head ice performance. The Wolf was on form. He comes out basically just calling JC a crackhead, and then proceeds in the second round to bring out various vials and bottles that JC normally contains his wares in. But JC, you know, is not to be underestimated, and he just showed why he's up there with the best pens to ever do this, and is a real, again, favourite. I think he's a strong favourite going forward. I think one judge, Polo, gave it to Head Ice, but it was pretty clear to me JC took that. It wasn't a bad ice, but it was just a great JC, and he outclassed him for me, although Head Ice had some standout moments for sure. In the next round, we will have Fonz versus Swamp and JC versus Sheed. Gonna be on the back of those performances this weekend, who I think it's a question of who now has got the consistency, who can produce another 3 rounds of the same consistency to go on and get the place in the finals. We've got the vet JC, who is pretty consistent. I can't remember the last time we saw a lackluster JC, but we haven't seen him necessarily on the bigger stages every 2 weeks, having to put out. But he's the vet in this situation. You've got Sheed, who, along with Swamp, the two of them managed to pull out crazy 2 performances within 2 weeks. But I don't know, do they have it in them to bring it again? And Fonz, one of the most, we've seen him battle frequently, and he's barely lost. He's had, I think, one kind of real devastating loss. Well, not devastating, was it ill will? But, you know, a clear loss recently, and at the time he was battling fairly frequently, so I don't know if that will play in. I'll do a proper predictions closer to the time, but just based on this weekend's performances, it's going to be, if they can keep up that standard, it's going to be a real fight for that $100,000 and the place on Gnome. So yeah, shout out to the finalists. We also got the off battles card announced. We will finally get to see Snake Eyes versus Stumbles, the battle that caused a whole heap of madness at the Ultimate Madness. Was it the first event, second event, last event, whenever, the Ultimate Madness event, whose name in particular I can't remember, where the two of them were supposed to battle and instead got into a brawl, and Snake got the belt snatched. Tone Bro got involved, and so did a ton of Snake Eyes people. It was not cool, but it seems like they're down to put their issues aside and settle it mano a mano in the arena of the Ultimate Madness 5 undercard. Off, I keep calling it the undercard, that's about the off, one-off battles. So we've got that battle. We've got Swervo versus MVP, Ryder versus Kid Slade, and O-Red versus Nun Nun, alongside the two semi-final battles. So lots of returning UM5 contenders eager to redeem themselves somewhat and get a win on this card. Again, we'll do some predictions even closer to the time. But yeah, a